ranchers in general are passionate about their history. That's where they get their identity. And you know, when you grow up, I don't care if it's in Texas or Wyoming or Alabama for that matter, it could be anywhere. If you come from agriculture, if you come from the livestock industry, you're connected to your past. Your past means something to you. Over really all of the United States for that matter, especially in this part of the world, there were just millions and millions and millions of acres of grassland that could be converted into meat protein. For thousands of years it was converted into meat protein by buffalo. And it was harvested by Native Americans and sustained them for centuries. You know, it's also good habitat for the bovine. And I guess what's good for the bison was good for the bovine. Over time, Spanish colonization moved forward out of Mexico, and first it came with the Catholic Church. It came to this part of the world to bring Christianity to Texas and New Mexico and in this part of the world, and they were followed soon thereafter by men and women who thought there was an opportunity to make a living. They had left Europe. Then you had this convergence there of a lifestyle that had taken all these resources on the prairie and for many centuries and sustained a population, and you had the innovation of the Anglo that came here at the same, you know, that finally culminated here, and it really gave birth, I think, to the cattle industry. Things got stopped, dead in their tracks when the Civil War came, but things really kicked into high gear after the Civil War was over, because at that point there were thousands, maybe millions of longhorn cattle running all across Texas and parts of the South, New Mexico. And then some innovation. Again, that Anglo innovation told these people that we could gather these cattle up and collect them and put them in a herd and organize a group of men and stick a chuck box on the back of a wagon and take beef to Kansas, to railheads in Kansas that would then take that product on to the east. And that's really, I think, what a fascinating story about the birthplace of the beef industry in general, because you had production, you had an infrastructure that began to come into place, and it was really the birthplace of the modern beef industry. The past means something. The past gives us our identity. The past gives us our values and our principles. But it also looks to the future, because, you know, our primary goal is to take forage, take grass and convert it into beef and feed a hungry population. That's unique from probably any other industry that, you know, that's around, and makes it special. It's unique in this part because it just, I don't care if you're sixth generation or if you just moved here from California, you connect to ranching, you connect to that Western lifestyle, you connect to that Western culture. The first thing if somebody moves to this part of the world from New York City, invariably one of the first things they'll do is go down to a Western store and buy a pair of cowboy boots. I mean, they're just connected. People are connected to the mystique of ranching. And that mystique gives us our identity and gives us a uniqueness that you can go anywhere in the world. I mean, you know, if you travel to Asia, if you travel to Europe, if you travel to the Middle East, if you tell them that you're from the United States, especially if you tell them you're from Texas or Oklahoma or New Mexico, they expect you to be toting a 6-gun and have a big ranch back home. That help?
Yeah, it's funny.
It's true.
It is true.